Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Weekly Wave. We will go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about accountability reporting. Your upcoming windows will include the chronic absenteeism medical exemption. It will open mid-October, and it's open through the end of the school year. There's going to be webinar trainings that will be provided through the Office of Accountability. And I guess they'll be doing that throughout the year. The CVR graduation enrollment rate 2021, it's opening on mid-October as well, and it'll only be open for 10 days. Then we also have the student enrollment graduation DVR for 2022. It will open mid-October. It's scheduled to close around in the mid-November timeframe. And reporting windows will be announced through our Gov delivery. So look for those announcements. And if you have any questions regarding any of these reports, please email the Office of Accountability at accountability@sde.ok.gov. Does anyone have any questions in regards to the accountability information? Okay, and if you've got questions, I ask that you just unmute yourself and ask them, because it's kind of hard to keep up with the slides and the questions at the same time. Megan, you're going to know when the training starts. They're going to send out a Gov delivery, so there'll be announcements to let you know when those windows are open and also about the training itself. And Shauna, unfortunately, last week's Weekly Wave was not recorded. So the slides should be out there, but the recording is not. It did not get recorded. Okay, I'm going to move on to Ed Plan. You know, if you're having the issues with your students not showing up in the Ed Plan system, we need you to check a few things. You need to check and make sure the student's not pending an STN in the STN system. You need to make sure there are no ownership issues, so you'll have to check and clear those out. And you have to check your data validations as well and make sure those errors are cleared, because any one of these three items will prevent a student from the records going into Ed Plan. So make sure that that's the first thing you check before reaching out to our office or to Ed Plan, that your student does not have any of those issues. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, class size verification. The correction window is now open. It'll close on the 17th of October. Ryan is conducting those monthly meetings, and unfortunately the one yesterday, we had more people try to join than he anticipated. He's got a new link that you should be receiving, and I'll be providing as well, that will hold up to 1,000 people. But if you're having issues with the class size verification app itself, you need to contact Ryan Piper at ryan.piper@sde.ok.gov. And Dean Hupp is also a good resource for app issues. If the issues are related to any data, then you'll need to contact our office at the studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov. The new link for class size, and it'll be October the 12th at 10 a.m. Central Time. I provided in this slide. It's got the link and the passcode. These slides will be posted as soon as the call is over today. And that way you'll be able to join next week's call. And do apologize for the problems from yesterday. Sydney's also posted that link in the chat. If you want to copy it and paste it, create a meeting on your calendar for it for next week. The video is going to be posted. In his reply when I asked this morning, he said soon. So Mona, unfortunately, I don't have a date or time when it will be posted, but he assures me it will be posted out there. So just keep checking. It'll be in the class size verification app under help. You're welcome. Does anybody have any questions about class size that hopefully I can answer?
Nancy, this is Lori.
Yes.
I want to clear up a little confusion that was talked about yesterday, because this is about the only thing I know about class size, just FYI for everybody out there. If you have 3-year-olds that are getting tested to see if they should be on an IEP, they will be coded as PK3 basis of admission, and they will not show up on the class size application. If you have a 3-year-old that is on an IEP, they will be put into your system as resident, and you will need to build a class for them. Any other questions will need to go to the accreditation office on how to do that. But I think there's some confusion out there with the districts. So I wanted to kind of give you all a heads up that that's what we found out yesterday, because it was a little confusing.
Thank you, Lori, for sharing that. If anybody has any questions about that, now is the time to ask. Okay, we're going to move on to October 1st consolidated. So the report is open and is scheduled to close on the 17th. And since it fell on the Saturday, we captured your student count on October the 3rd. So I know there's some people that are still making sure that information is correct. Be sure that you're checking your find missing students. The child count is included in this report, and actually that data is coming out of EdPlan. So it should match what the EdPlan data shows. We need to make sure that your special ed director is the one who's they're not going to be confirming the report. They're just going to be verifying that the data is correct. So please be sure that you're not, that you're looking at that and making sure it's correct. Okay, so Amanda, you're not having the ability to refresh the data during the day. I will definitely check on that and see what's going on. And Jill's asking what she needs to do about the economically disadvantaged students that are not showing up on October 1st. Jill, can you tell me what district you're with, and I'll check on that and let you know, because I'm not sure. From what I had heard, I thought we had a snapshot of that, but I'll make sure that that's the truth before I say that, really. I've already said it, but I'll make sure that I contact you and let you know what that information is. Okay, child count. So
Nancy?
Yes.
Can I say something about October 1? Because I guess I want to say something about everything on this today.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, so on your October 1 consolidated report, before you certify the report, it would be very helpful for the state aid office if you would go look at reporting tools and look at the comparison reports for at least your bilingual, your economically disadvantaged, and your gifted counts, and see if they compare to the previous year, or let us maybe know if you had an increase or decrease, because otherwise I'll be sending out emails, and they usually seem to happen 500 people decide to certify 2 days before. So it gets hard. So just make sure so we're not opening those reports, because that'll show you what you're reporting compared to what you reported last year.
Thanks, Lori.
Nancy, this is Mitzi. I need you and Lori on this one. I got a call on the October 1, and I guess when they go in to confirm their data, a box pops up that has all that you're confirming that these are your numbers.
Yes.
What if those numbers are not right? Because one called this morning, and her special ed number, she showed 106, and that's what's showing in the special ed tab in October 1. But when the box pops up and says you're certifying 103, who do they contact?
They would need to contact Student Data Info.
Okay.
At stu.ok.gov.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Jan, I'm not sure why all data is gone from your validation this morning. You'll need to reach out to Student Data Info and we can take a look at that. I don't know why that would happen. So, and Jill's free and reduced is showing up, but not their economic disadvantaged students. Okay. Kelly, is there any documentation on how on the personnel report, class size, audit, accreditation, how they're tied together, and other reports that are tied? And not that I'm aware of, Kelly. Just on October 1 and special ed, we did have slides in regards to that, but not this other stuff that I'm aware of. That would be something you need to get with accreditation on. Anybody got any other questions? Okay, I'm still going to continue a child count. So if you have an open, or if you need to make an appeal, or you have an open appeal on your child count, you should not confirm or you should not certify your October 1st report. This is going to freeze your data, and you don't want that to happen if there's something that needs to be rolling in. So appeals are being accepted until October 12th. And if you need the, you can process your appeal. You can process your appeal, but if you need to refer to the guidance, it's at the following link, and this will be posted as well when we post the slides. Sydney, if you'd like to put that in the chat as well, that would be great. Anybody have any more questions about child count? And what I mean by don't confirm or certify your reports, because the minute you confirm your report, that data does not change. You'll have to open it back up.
Nancy, do you know about how long the turnaround is for when an appeal is made and when it's processed or completed?
I do not. Okay. That's done in special ed, and I don't have that timeline. I'm really sorry.
No, that's okay. I was worried, like, if the turnaround was longer than our due date.
Yeah, if that's the case, then we would definitely look at adjusting that close date.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Just make sure that you're communicating at least by email, so there's like record that we've been talking to you, so they'll be able to extend it.
Definitely. Okay, I'm going to move on, if there's no other questions in regards to this, to Lori's favorite subject, FQSR. It's now open and it closes November 30th. Now, what that means, it may not be due in your district. Your due date on this report is based upon, it should be completed no later than 10 calendar days after the end of your first 9 weeks and or prior to your RAO visit. So make sure that you're working through this and getting it done before your RA shows up. You need to make sure that your calendars are correct by checking your professional days, parents-teacher conference days. You need to check your students' membership, transportation, and on transportation, your student attendance summary needs to be being sent for that to actually populate. So if you're not seeing transportation, you might look at that object. Also, check your find missing students. If they're on there, they're there for, they could be there for a reason. It could be a student that you don't get funding for because they're just receiving speech at your district and they're attending a private school, or they're just a PK3 student who's being tested for services. So make sure you're looking at that, because if you're missing students, check. That's the first place I check. If you have questions about this report, we ask you to email state.aid@sde.ok.gov. And Lori or Mitzi, is there anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. I think the biggest thing that we're seeing, or what it seems like we've seen, is I do not know why people are not reporting their SAS. So there's no transportation. That seems to be the biggest thing that we're seeing right now, but we're not in the digs of it. You can either email us or you can put a note on the actual
FQSR,
application, and it'll go to the state. It'll go to that, so you don't have to type all that in. but just make sure if you have any problems with the FQSR, you can come to us before you go to the data office. And if we need assistance from the data office, we can ask for it. And then that might alleviate some of the emails that they're getting, because it's the wonderful month of October.
Thanks, Lori. Okay, any questions about FQSR? Okay, I'm going to move on to requesting state assistance. So anytime that you need you have an email to send to us about a student, we need you first of all to provide your name and phone number on your request. If you're sending it via email, we're going to get your email. Provide the student's state testing number or local ID only. Do not provide their name, date of birth, that personal information. We don't want that. We can access it through this STN or local ID. So, and this includes any emails that you send to our student data info email box, any group chats that are in Teams, or any of our personal email addresses or boxes. Just please send that state testing number. Okay, anybody have questions about that? All right. I'm moving on to creating new WAVE accounts. So your superintendents, first of all, and for most important, must provide the access to the WAVE before you do anything. Once it's on your single sign-on, then the employee needs to send a request for an affiliate's logon to service desk at omes.ok.gov. And once OMES gets that request, it can take up to 72 hours for your access to show up. It is helpful if you attach the name of Matthew Johnston to that request. He is the one that assigns that access, and it might help in speeding up your request. But, those are the steps you need to take in order to get that. So if you have questions about that, please let us know right now. And if not, I'm going to move on to issues accessing the WAVE. So if you have WAVE access and you've forgotten your password or whatever, and you go into the single sign-on page, you're going to click on the WAVE. You're going to log in like you normally would using your affiliate's login. So a lot of people are kind of thrown off when they get that Microsoft page. It's the same login information as your affiliate's login. I think that throws a lot of people off. So if you don't know your password, you're going to need to click on Forgot Password, and the system's going to email you a temporary password, and you're going to have to go in and change it. So if those steps don't work, if you're locked out of getting into the WAVE, then you're going to need to reach out to the service desk at omes.ok.gov, and they can actually go in and reset your password. Okay, that is basically all that I have for today. If you have any questions, please send us an email at studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov. Please know we have a lot of emails right now. So, and know that when you leave a voicemail, that sends us an email. So if you left a voicemail, you don't have to turn around and actually send another email. We have your voicemail and we will respond to your voicemail. If you have questions about any of our documents or guidance documents, they can be seen at our HTTPS at the link there at sde.ok.gov, student information, documents and guides. And it's, there's a lot of good stuff there. These slides will be posted there as soon as we're done. And other than that, I don't have anything else to cover. I see we are getting some questions, and I'm going to go to the questions to the chat. Can I ask a question about October 1 and SPED appeals? Amanda, sure. just unmute yourself and please ask the question.
Okay, thank you. So our SPED director, she had reached out because she has a few students that they've submitted an appeal on. I think they submitted yesterday. And so she's saying like they're submitting them so that they are going to show in our special ed count. And I'm confused because all of the kiddos she sent me appear in our final report count with IEP recognized by the WAVE. So I'm just wondering like why would the final report?
Well, because it's actually two separate reports.
Okay.
And we just combine them for convenience, so you're not having to work in two separate reports. So they still need to appear on the special ed count on your October 1.
Okay, even though they're good to go with the final report.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Jennifer, if you have a question about class size, I'd be glad to try to address it.
Okay, thanks, Nancy.
You're welcome.
My question is, yesterday, Ryan did a really nice training video on going through how to complete the class size verification report. However, the extra buttons that he was talking about, or the screen that was displayed for us yesterday at his training, they said it would be ready by lunchtime yesterday, and it's still not populating. And so just curious if you have any updates on what's going on with the delay of that, and yeah,
Well, and what kind of button was it?
It's the button for assigning paraprofessionals to teachers.
Okay.
And it was the button on send data to accreditation report.
Okay. I unfortunately don't have him on, and I didn't know that would be a question. So I don't have the answer to that. I'm sure that their intention was to get it posted. They might've run into a snag and still working on it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I am too. And then also he had indicated that he presented a PowerPoint at some point, and that it would be posted on or within the class size verification report under the help button. And just, it would be helpful to have that so I can get that out to all of the site admin assistants in my district that are working on this report to help reduce confusion.
I understand, Jennifer. And his intention is to post the whole video.
Okay.
And I asked him when that would be available, and his response to me was soon.
Okay. Well,
so just keep checking back. It should be under the help button.
Okay. And so the concern is then, we've had to set like an internal soft deadline, but we know we can give our data time to filter through and actually populate all of the reports. Just concerned that, the timeline is short, and our site admin assists are working on not only class size verification, but accreditation in October 1. And then we'll be working on FQSR. Just concerned over just that real short timeline to get all of that completed accurately when, larger school districts, we have so much going on at our sites.
I totally understand. What I might recommend that you do is email Ryan and see if he can send you the slideshow. Send you his slides instead of the whole, recording.
Yeah, because we don't want the recording, just the slides. And yeah, I'm just concerned for my people that are working on this, the timelines and the turnaround. There's lots of anxiety because everybody wants to do the right thing.
Oh, I totally get it. So just go ahead and Sydney's put his email in the chat. Email him and ask him if you could just get a copy of his slides.
I will certainly do that. Thank you, Nancy.
I did. I put his email.
Do what? You sent him an email?
I put his email in the chat.
Oh, yes, I saw that. Thank you so much for that, Sydney.
Thanks, Nancy. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. Okay, so Ladina, you all need this slideshow. I understand. I would just email Ryan at this point. I don't have the slides. He has that. So, and June's mentioned, this is, June, is this in regards to, oh, that's in regards to PEBT. The only way I would recommend getting the slides is to email Ryan. He is the owner of those slides. I don't even have those. So just send an email and ask him, instead of the video, you would just like the slides, because the video I'm sure is going to be very long. He was on there till about noon yesterday, so answering questions. Okay, anybody else have any other questions? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now, because I know there are people that don't like to answer or ask questions.